Mike Brown! What's his name? Mike Brown! What's his name? Mike Brown!
We were peacefully protesting, and all of a sudden military tanks pull up and sharpshooters on the top pointing guns at us, and it was very scary. Like, I've never experienced anything like that in my whole entire life.
I was at the first protest, but I mean, I was scared at that protest because that's when they first started tear gassing everybody, and I thought they was gonna have them dogs out, so I was gonna run.
They came out with rifles like the whole time. They throwing tear gas that's like all in the air. You don't know what they finna do since they got all these vehicles out here. Like, they seem unnecessary, but like it looks like they mean business.
Like, I live like right where it happened, so my sister and them, like, they had to like go through that daily when all the incidents were happening. Like, when they was throwing tear gas and all that, shooting rubber bullets, like, people was breaking into houses, so I was worried about my sister and them.
Watching the way it affected the people around me and seeing how upset it made my peers and people in my family, there was a lot of confusion on the situation based on the fact that they weren't really releasing much of the details, so people were just making up their own opinions and perceptions on the situation, not knowing the full story.
Sometimes I feel tension when the conversation comes up in a classroom just because I'm like one of 3 white kids sitting in there.
I've seen students come to school who were upset, who stayed up all night crying due to the situation. I've had students who could not go to sleep due to the violence that was taking place.
You can't really attack police, so I guess some broke out in looting to show their anger, I suppose, and some were just there to loot.
I've seen some people manage it by being angry, and like the angry protesters, and just being really mad and fed up with the world for all this kind of stuff happening. And then I've also seen people just kind of like go on with their lives like there's nothing you can do about it, it happened, and you can't go back and change that.
From what's going on, it's only getting worse, because as you see, they really don't care about what we think or, you know, what we doing. They really don't. They just burnt down a dude's memorial.
When I heard one of my students cry, and she said, "Mr. Kirk, how can the American people that were paid to protect us hurt us?" And she said, "I just don't understand."
The police, like, you look at them differently now. Like, that changed because of what happened.
A lot of African Americans tended to act semi-racist about the situation and say racist things, and kind of blame it on Caucasians because the police officer was white.
I just think they're just sick of the police killing young people.
They want justice, not just for Mike Brown, because the situation, it involved Mike Brown, but as you see, it involves black people, like, as one. Like, they just want justice. That's what all the looting was about. They want peace and justice.
Maybe something will change, and if they like let them off, like don't charge them at all, then I'm sorry, it's gonna be hell.
I'm a mother! I am a mother! And I love God before I love anything else. Amen. All right. So over her, I'ma teach y'all because I want y'all to know. Hey. I want to be here all night. And I don't want the police to bother me.
I don't think things will ever be the same after what happened to this young man. I don't think anything will be the same.
It has changed, like the feeling over there. It's like, oh my goodness, this is part of history now. Like, it used to feel like safe in the area, I guess you'd say. Now it doesn't feel like, hey, it's like the vibe is different. Like you riding down the street, burnt down, quick trip, vacant places, boarded up places, and it's not the same anymore.
I say that if you want change, then you be the change. Don't look for other people to start the change. You start the change yourself.
Even though you may not live in the community, even though you may not stay here, you still have a voice. And I am urging everybody to utilize your voice in a positive way. It may not be the Michael Brown situation, but there's injustices that's going on within your own community. And I would like for those of you, if you see it, to speak out about it and show leadership. If you're a young person, this is your time to stand up and to be heard.